Hello everyone. I guess we all are keeping our fingers crossed on what's happening in Washington DC right now, the confirmation hearings of RFK Jr. So this recording I made last August, right after it became clear that Trump and RFK would join in their approach to make America healthy again, which was a really great turn of events. You can go back to this video here, which I recorded, as I say, in August, and there's another one there as well. And so let's jump right into it. My prediction is he will be confirmed probably around the 4th or 5th of February. Hopefully that soon. Maybe it takes a few days longer. We will see. But that's the premise. Now look at this. I showed you this chart in my August video. This is the midpoint chart, Davison midpoint, time space midpoint between those two gentlemen's birth charts. So that shows how they work together as a team. And now look at this next one, which is just what I was getting started yesterday night. The Jupiter Saturn helio square as perceived from Earth in this picture here for Greenwich, for the whole world. The Greenwich, as we have seen in multiple charts, really works that way. It's the fractal for the whole planet. We would kind of narrow it down to one single point. That spot on the planet works. So this congruency already made me excited last August, and I said this is the dream team. They will definitely bring back something which we are all craving for, which is truth and reconciliation, I would call it. And if you listen to these confirmation hearings at all, then you will see so much is now brought into the open, into the public's attention about who is funded by these companies who are really basically running our healthcare, and on and on and on. It's really a can of worms which is being opened as we speak. And this is actually really tying also with this other big alignment we see happening right now, and I want to jump right to it for a moment, which is this one here. That is the Black Moon's opposition to Aries. Here's the Black Moon, and here is Aries 24-26. This is really tickling the shadow out of the box, bringing everything into the open. The shadow, naturally the Black Moon, the place where the moon is farthest away from Earth, that deep trench in the ocean where usually we don't go at all and look at. But this is really in the focus line right now. Again, you see a big similarity with the chart I just showed you before, the 27th degree of Taurus here, right in the focus line between Uranus and Sedna, which is a combination of energies which gets ever more aligned over the next year or two, as Uranus is pulling up to Sedna. And in my research, I have seen that these two are kind of breaking things up from the deep. Sedna is related to all things underground and deep, hidden away, stored in the far reaches of the universe, now being brought back into our attention. Literally coming back from that 11,000 plus year journey, Sedna is delivering, opening its vaults, particularly as it's now in Gemini, in the sign of Mercury, which is all about sharing, thinking, talking, communicating about that issue. And certainly Jupiter in here helps too, to really animate the discussion and the narrative everybody wants to know with this Jupiter there. And as you see also the nice symmetry with Moon and Jupiter, yes, this is really brought into the mainstream focus. Everybody can see it set now right here in a 90-degree angle above the horizon. And then last not least, here you see Juno at the bottom of the chart, and Deucalion is here too. So Juno, first of all, is the spirit of working together, of joining hands with one another at this powerful place. This is really what's going on right now too. People are starting to see that it is important to stand together and, in that sense, brace these challenges. Anyway, I want to get back on track here. This is just a little detour because it's all so connected and it's sometimes hard to make my mind what to talk about. Anyway, so let's just keep rolling here. I mean, there's many things I will go back to in another video, but let's just get right into the theme I have here prepared for you. This is Robert Jr.'s birth chart. It's a rectification. Yes, I have looked into his biography and found some really powerful dates which were allowing me to rectify his chart. Most of all, the moment when his uncle was killed in 1963, when he was barely 9 years old, which left a deep impression on him. Naturally, who wouldn't? He was there close by. So events like that allow an astrologer to rectify a chart, and then you double check with other events, and if you see falls in line, then you can be pretty sure it works. And his chart in this rectification really, as you will see as we go, there's one confirmation after the other. Just alone this opposition here of Hygeia, which is health, well-being, here at his south node, in opposition to Chiron and Venus here at the north node, in a stellium with his birth sun and his Mercury in his first house, all in a square aspect, T-square here to the midheaven, shows this is really his lifeblood. This is what is make him go. I mean, he is a true warrior for truth, for good things, for health, for well-being. I guess everybody who is at least listening a little bit into what he has to say will agree on that. Also, Setna here at the fourth house cusp definitely plays into this, bringing those hidden secrets into the open. And yes, Setna is really not about nice things in particular. Actually, it's a very dark myth which goes with it. Setna, that goddess from the Inuit tradition, who actually at first was a girl who then was, because she refused all the suitors which came to marry her, her father took radical action and brought her to this remote island. And then after he had second thoughts, wanted to rescue her again, and then the storm broke, and the raven came, and he had to, actually, to save his life, he threw her overboard, and as she wanted to climb into the boat, he knocked off her fingers. So it's a really, really dark energy too, which is coming out into the open here with Setna. So this is the Helio Jupiter Saturn square for Washington, BC, which is showing how this shift of energy will manifest here in North America, in that nation. Interesting, the Chiron placement here. Chiron again is the wounded healer. Here with Hygeia and Chiron flanking Eris again in opposition to the Black Moon. Yes, this is the theme of our times. Healthcare, well-being, showing what's wrong, what's at the bottom of what is not working well, and the T-square here, the grand square actually with Pallas and Mars here. All of that brings lots of charge into the subject, that all grand squares are extremely dynamic. Pallas revealing all the patterns, bringing a scientific attitude into it. Naturally, Mars is the one which brings the fire into it, and in Cancer it's all about working for community and also taking on the difficult jobs. Mars in Cancer is in a way, as we all experience, very emotionally attached to what is important, and for that is ready to take on difficult things. Again, there would be so much more to say here on this, but I just want to browse through here quickly to not get it too long. This is now the midpoint chart of Robert Kennedy's birth chart with that Jupiter-Saturn square for Washington. And I mean, the charts speak for themselves that the rectification I did most likely is correct, which would give Mr. Kennedy a birth time of early morning, about 5:45 a.m. If anybody has access to his time of birth, it would be nice to get that confirmed. But again, that is not necessary. The charts speak for themselves. You see, this is the midpoint energy, and you see that Moon, Saturn, Chiron, yes, he's definitely in the crossfire right now, and it is about his really what so much is important to him. He is ready to go through the fire for his conviction, for his beliefs, for what he thinks is right and true. He goes through all that struggle and exposure to these challenging voices. Now, on the 4th of February, and February is a very interesting month to start with. Lots of things will break open this month. It's number 11, if you want. I should quickly throw this in. If you add the month number with the year number, 2025 is a 9 in itself, and January was a number 1 month, so you add the 9 plus the 1 to get the 10, so the 10 reduces to a 1. So January truly was a new beginning in that sense, and February will be a true expression of the 2 or of the 11, even more so, which is that polarity brought into the open, and so on. So for March will be a 12, which is the Hanged Man, which probably will really be a time of reconciliation and making personal difficult choices of change. April the 13th, that is probably the month where we see really difficult things to start happening on this planet in terms of earth changes. Number 13 in the tarot, as you all know, is the death chart, which means radical change and bringing things to a organic ending in a way, and then so on and so forth. You can do it yourself, that math. It's pretty straightforward. May the number 5, a highly dynamic month it will be, as it resonates again with the 5 in the 25, the 5 being the most dynamic numbers of all. So anyway, this is just a little add-on here. Jupiter turning direct, that is a big moment when Jupiter's energy again goes more outside, where it was kind of working within and making us expand in a personal, deeper way. Interesting is that here in the Greenwich chart again, that Aries Black Moon opposition is right in the ascendant descendant, and again, to link back to Mr. Kennedy's chart, this is his midheaven, midnight axis, his power axis, so to say. The same chart for Washington DC. You wouldn't believe it. You see the same two characters are now in that line of recognition, of really zoning in. This is important. This is the crown and the root of what is happening right now. Here on the side, actually, I should quickly mention that here I have the midpoint chart of Kennedy's chart with the Declaration of Independence, and we will get into that chart too in a minute. What I want to point out here is that T-square here with the Moon and Saturn. Now, Moon and Saturn, that's a seriousness, a very deep focus of what is important, and health naturally again here at the ascendant, very exact 27:31 versus 27:16. And those of you who know the chart of independence very well know that Pluto is here at 27:32. So he is truly challenging the powers. I guess that's what we all see. He is pushing his agenda, if you want to call it an agenda for the good. Certainly it is, to get things to a better place, to unmask all these powers with wrong or not helpful, whatever you call it. You know what I mean. I don't want to get too exact in that. Also, the Jupiter-Uranus opposition is very beautiful, showing that he is an innovator, actually in the axis of the galactic center here. Jupiter very close, galactic center right now 27:11, so this one reads 26:58 or something, 28:58, somewhere there, in house 6, which is about health and well-being. So all really points in the same direction. This is a sign of times that Mr. Kennedy and naturally also Mr. Trump are there and stepping into the arena and rolling their sleeves back and getting things accomplished in a whole new way. That is the basic shift we are seeing with that Jupiter-Saturn square, which again, as I showed you yesterday night shortly, the conjunction of the two, Jupiter and Saturn, in heliocentric geometry, which is what really the basis of all how the planets arrange around the sun, which changes the frequency of the sun, which changes the music, as I like to say, and then the dance will adjust accordingly how we perceive this music here on planet Earth. This will be then the geocentric whatever astrology, showing the manifestations of that energy. But the big shift is the heliocentric always. Yes, it's not directly visible most often, but in that case it was interesting that this happened just the night before the elections in 2020. On November the 2nd, you have to really look at that one. It really gives you the base for what I'm talking about here, how important these 4 moments are when the direction is shifted in a new opening into a new scene almost. And it is interesting that January 27 is just 1 week off from the inauguration. So again, it is that alignment with something totally new. Interesting also in this chart is the ascendant here, Jupiter going direct again, squaring the power axis of the American nations chart. Here we have it, the Declaration of Independence, and here you have again Pluto, which I was talking about, which would be here in this chart. So it's all linked together. That's why I really can't narrow myself down to just talk about one chart. Usually I really like to see how they all interact and work together as a big group of different anchors, which then allow for some much bigger structures to come together. So let's go back to this chart and then what I have lined up here. Okay, this is the midpoint of that Jupiter station coming up in a few days with Robert Kennedy Jr.'s chart. And again, I mean, the chart speaks for itself. That same axis, again, beginning of cardinal Capricorn with Uranus here, opposing Jupiter here. Watch this one too, this axis 23 Aries Libra, that is what we just came from, you see. It's basically the same geometry naturally as Mr. Kennedy has already that same axis in his chart, so it's just kind of a sign of times that he is here getting into his position, able to really exert from a new place of power what he believes in to be true. Again, you can stop at any time the video and take notes and take screenshots. If you want to go deeper into these charts, please do so. Always welcome if you have any comments or questions. Okay, now we're looking at the midpoint of the Declaration of Independence with that heliocentric Jupiter-Saturn square of the 27th for Washington DC, for the American nation. And what you see, again, it just keeps repeating, which again also kind of confirms the time I'm using for the American nation's birth, which is based on Dane Rudyard's take. Dane Rudyard, as you all know, is probably the most outstanding astrologer of the 20th century. He did the rectification of this chart and found this to be the most I would say the one which works the best, which shows most often very exactly, mirrors what is happening. So this is the midpoint, and look at this Moon-Mars conjunction here. Getting things done, and having the courage to go there. Estrella, the one who's ready to roll her sleeves back, she's an asteroid. Asteroids are the roles we are meant to play in this grand drama, to bring our personal energy, interact with the collective, with the social and transpersonal field. So Australia in particular is the one which calls us to roll our sleeves back and start to clean up, to the difficult, dirty job. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction again here. You see there's these many repetitions. Again, you will find many more little wonderful synchronicities. Look at the part of fortune 2539 in Taurus. Makes me go back to these two charts here. And this one here. This is the one we were just looking at, right? Yeah, Declaration of Independence. This is the midpoint. That's the same chart you have here on the side. I just thought I'd bring it up once more on the big screen, so you can also see it more clearly. I found this super interesting, the midpoint sun at 2147 in Aries, and if you go back to the independence chart, that's where you see Chiron opposing Juno, which I have said repeatedly. This is one of the most important alignments in the American chart, which shows on one side the deep division that has been created, splitting the populace into black and white, into whatever red and blue, and all those divisions which we have to overcome. Chiron is the one which eventually will overcome all those divisions and bringing people together to work as one community, as one people, supporting one another. This is accentuated, as you see again, with all these charts which I've shown you, which have alignments in the 23rd, 24th degree, and here now the 21st, 22nd. Here you have it again, the moon conjunct Saturn here at the North Node in Libra. Again, very much wanting to share what is seen, cardinal sign Libra, of interaction, of partnership, working it out together with others. Also like the Scorpio North Node here, the great intensity he brings into it. and a couple more charts here. This is the Black Moon Aries opposition for Washington, and once more we have here Uranus and Sedna. And the last chart here, okay, yeah, I really wanted to bring that in too. That is the Chiron return, the third one for the independence chart for this one here, C2008. That is the last final return. There were 3, 2 in 2024. This is the conclusion, and this is a 51-year cycle. So this sets the pace for how the chironic energy of healing will be playing out over the next 51 years, basically, in the American nation, with Jupiter down here. Yes, we could have definitely foreseen that this is the way it goes. This is a deep healing which is happening. Again, 26 degree this time of Aquarius and Leo, again perfectly squaring this. All these charts of the 26th degree of Taurus Scorpio. So again, I'm just really touching the tip of icebergs, and there's much more in all of these charts, but I just wanted to make it clearly visible that it is most certain that Mr. Kennedy will get the position he's deserving, and that the American nation is on a wonderful trajectory towards a greater recognition of what's important for human beings to be healthy, and in that sense really being the leading edge of change on the whole planet. Thank you for being here and listening, and talk to you soon.